Hey folks, Stronghold Crafter Kev here. Welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to start doing dungeon traps. And this modular piece right here is a spiked floor trap, which you can use in a corridor section, or you can be using it in a center tile piece of a large room. So if you're new to the channel and like what you see, feel free to subscribe. I have a lot more things coming on the channel. Wouldn't want you to miss out. And if you're a subscriber, thank you. Really appreciate it. For more information on my craft, visit my website, which is strongholdcrafter.com. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And I do welcome comments, so feel free to express what you think about certain things. And eventually I will do a showcase of some of these pieces in case I miss something at the end, like showing how it all fits together. So more to come on the channel. Alright? And I'll see you in a bit.
Hey folks, welcome back to another dungeon tile tutorial of this sort. Alright, so I'm going to show you how you do these spikes in a 4x4 tile. It's actually very simple. You'll see how simple it is once we get through it. You're just going to take a regular 4x4 tile, and after going through Dungeon Tiles video 3 and Dungeon Tiles video 4, you should come up with a completed tile like this for us to continue on. Now, referring back to this one, I'm not going to do this one exactly because it's pretty much where you want to put your spikes is what all that matters. And we're just going to use simple everyday toothpicks for this. Now, the trick is to put the spikes up in the where the cracks of the tiles are in between the tiles it would go. That way it's hidden, of course. And anyway, they show up because I did some blood effects and stuff. So there's about 12 in that tile, so we're going to use the same amount of toothpicks. So you're going to basically need about 6, and we're going to cut off the ends, which is what we want. The pointy parts, now I didn't bother cutting off the ends because it didn't feel really necessary. I'll just warn people if they're going to be playing my board that, you know, be careful not to stick yourself with these. So all you need is a good sturdy kind of scissors. Mark about an inch in the middle of the toothpick, and then just line it up like so. Simple. And there we go, our toothpick. Now, don't need the scissors anymore. And you're probably wondering, okay, well, what do we do with these other parts of the toothpick? Well, here is a tip for you. You can use them as rungs on a ladder for a 28mm scale. Because actually these toothpick ends that I used for spikes turned out to be a scrap at the end of another job, and I was like wondering, what do I do with these? Well, I'll just save them for later, and turned out that was a good idea. Now, what you need to do is figure out, okay, where do I want these spikes to go? So let's say I want to change up the configuration on this one compared to this one. So, and have a figure handy just in case you want some playability, and figure out if you want to make it where they have to actually try to go over the spikes, or if there'll be an obstacle that you have to play on where you have to fight monsters on the tile as well. You can see from the height of the figure where it is here, so it's going to be more of a a trap, if you will, for hitting the legs, or maiming their legs and their feet and stuff like that. So all you need to do is take the blunt end of the toothpick and carefully stick it in place, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to stick the rest of my spikes in place, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, and this is what I came up with. Of course, right now with their light color, they're going to show up really well, but this is not set to where you have to work in between the spikes. You can have it, I mean, with this figure with its wide base, you can just simulate that he's able to get through that narrow opening and still stand or whatever. But that's up to the guy running the game, of course, with your dungeon crawling campaign of sorts. Now it's going to be time to glue these in place. I recommend something quick. I'm using a low temperature hot glue gun, and I'll show you how easy that can be. Now I recommend that you do these in like a series, so you keep track as to where you've stuck your spikes. I mean, you can barely see the holes there, but that's fine. And I just put a little dab of glue on. And just stick it in place and hold it there for a few seconds so it stays nice and straight and it adheres to where you want it to be. Alright, I'm going to continue this and I'll get back with you. Alright, that was interesting. Like I said, make sure that you're placing them in away from what you're doing here, and hold them in place, and you'll see just with a little hot glue they actually stick in there pretty good. If you're concerned about, I don't know if you can see this, in some places you can see the hot glue a little bit. That's not a big deal. We can paint over that to give it some more texture, make it look like it's blood maybe. And also be very careful with any kind of hot glue gun. The glue can still burn you, whether if it's a low temperature or a high temperature hot glue gun. So now it's time to paint these. Alright, what I meant to say was I'm going to show you how I base coat these first, and then I'll get back with you after I paint them all. But anyway, one thing I was wondering, or you might be wondering, is, well, why did I go to the trouble of painting all this? And it's like, believe me, it's easier to get this all painted already, because then it's not a matter of painting around the spikes. You're just painting the spikes. And if you find that you messed up, you can always touch it up later, because it's just black paint, not a big deal. So I'm going to, so yeah, use a very small tip brush, and you don't need a whole lot of paint. Just make sure you cover all the essential parts, like so. And I'll finish this and show you how it looks. Alright, what's nice about acrylic paint is it doesn't take very long to dry. You can see how it looks there, and it's kind of like blending in with the base here just a little bit. Not a big deal. We'll highlight that a little bit. So after using a plain black acrylic. We're going to change things up with using a well, this was the paint I used, some kind of Bella brand flat black paint. And now I'm going to use Folk Art wrought iron to help make these spikes look more metallic. So I will paint them up and show what I come up with. Okay, this is how this turned out. Now let's see if we can get this to focus here. It looks like a gray, but it is a wrought iron shade, and you can see how it has a slight luster to it, but still this paint might be a little bit on the wet side, but no big deal. When it totally dries, it'll still have that nice slight metal look to it, but not overpowering, of course, to be like shiny. No. Now these look like they, you can barely see them. Well, that's where the blood highlight comes in, and that gives it that popping type of look that you want, just like DM Scotty would say. And this is Folk Art Naphthol Crimson, which it's a matte paint, and without rattling on too much, I'm going to highlight these things. Now, depending on how you want the spikes to look, you don't have to, of course, not color the whole thing, but you want to highlight enough to where it pops out that idea that something got impaled on it of sorts. Yeah, so I'm going to continue with this and get back with you. Alright, now the fun really begins. As you can see here, the paint is a little bit still wet on some parts. It'll dry on and look like dried blood. You can see I didn't quite cover them all the same way. And just to add some more interesting look and feel to it, what you can do is take a sponge brush of sorts and just dab a little bit. I'll fix that. You can dab a little, you can pull it out, and you can dab some blood all over the place. And if you're a forensics person, please don't yell at the way I'm doing this. I'm trying to keep it random. I don't know about how actual blood spatter effects should be, but like I said, and here again though, this is for fun, and this doesn't have to be perfect. But you can see if that's got that much dried blood there, someone had a very bad day when they came out. But that's the main thing. It's just a highlighting. That pretty much sums it up. So when this dries into place, it will look, if we can just get this to focus, there we go. It'll look like it's been dried on and all that good stuff. Pretty much sums it up. Thanks for watching. Bye.